教えてよ教えてよその仕組みを僕の中に誰かいるの
So hi everyone, it's Dave Ghoul with another Tokyo Ghoul video for you guys. This time I want to talk with you all about a certain topic I've been wanting to discuss ever since Sui Ishida, the author of the Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re manga series, published this photo in particular. Not this one, although it's epic as fuck, but this one instead highlighting his new project for this year in specific, 2019. Tokyo Ghoul is finally over, with the end of the Re series, and so it raises the question, what the hell comes next? What is Sui Ishida gonna do? Well, initially, I thought after watching his latest interview regarding the Tokyo Ghoul series and possibly some future plans after, which, if you not have read it yet and want a full analysis, I highly suggest you go check Desrosa's video regarding that, link in the description below. That Sui Ishida will take a break, especially after just finishing a series he has been working on for almost a decade. So imagine my surprise when learning about the news that he will be working on something new, ready to be released 1 year after finishing Tokyo Ghoul Re. So just this year alone, he will be involved in 2 new projects. Granted, one of them he has been working on while he was drawing and writing Tokyo Ghoul. But before I get to the more mysterious one, I need to share my worries with this new manga of his. I love Sui Ishida. I love his writing. I admire his drawing and how he conveys emotions so realistically and in high detail through the facial expressions that his characters make. And I absolutely adore the Tokyo Ghoul manga, even when it's at its weakest. But I do worry about the short amount of time he set to himself to begin a new manga. Sui Ishida is not necessarily the best person to create a deadline for himself. He did it with the final chapters for Tokyo Ghoul Re, and although he still managed to bring out a solid end product and a good finality for the series, he put his all into it. He still could have done better, he himself acknowledging that, and it shows, especially when you compare previous signs of brilliance and of course his greatest trademark, a big attention to detail and symbolism. The prior not as strongly executed because he had a deadline to keep. Also, one of the reasons why he gave himself that deadline was in great part due to frustration and health issues because of the stress writing and drawing Tokyo Ghoul was causing him. Also, it notices when you look back and read the manga, you can see quite clearly in some of the art in certain chapters, but more so of course in the latest arcs of Re. And I don't want that. As a fan, I want Sui Ishida to be at his best, but more importantly, to be happy and enjoy the form of art he's creating and not feel miserable and physically plus mentally ill due to it, like before. I seriously thought he was gonna take a break because of how honest and real he was about his process in creating Tokyo Ghoul and how all those years have drained him and his personal life. Taking a break meant he will be able to rest after such harsh years working on the same project, especially one so dark and tragic in its nature and designed with few moments to breathe and have a laugh, and have a moment for himself and his loved ones. Only to now be already working on so soon on a brand new project. Well, maybe I shouldn't be as worried as I am. Maybe this new manga will be lighter in tone, easier to write and draw due to a less complex and challenging premise and story. Maybe Sui Ishida doesn't need much time to distance himself from his older project or work in general. Which leads me to the more fun part of this video, which is predicting what his new project will be all about. So far we only got an image, or more precisely a drawing, of what we can assume will be the protagonist of his new story, Mitsuki Shirota, which some people are saying is a male, and I completely disagree. I think she's a girl. But I could be terribly wrong if there is anything both manga and anime have taught me. And, of course, a release date for 2019. So this could come out anytime this year, but I'm willing to bet the first chapter of the manga will be released in the fall 2019. Yeah, it could be anything. That's the only thing Sui Ishida was willing to share with his fans, but we can still speculate, however. Not so much what its story will be all about, Although I can picture Ishida leaning more towards romance this time around. I think he would absolutely kill it if he got to explore more of that, since we only got tidbits of it in Tokyo Ghoul not being his primary focus, but more so what themes he'll be exploring. We know that Sui Ishida excels at psychological horror, more so the psychological, and how he's interested in it and uses symbolism in his story. So I will love if he continued in that route, focusing on new aspects of one's life and mind than the ones he already has. Maybe focus on mental illness. Kaneki's struggle with his mind was a big part of Tokyo Ghoul, but I wouldn't categorize it as a mental illness per se. Instead, I would like if Ishida explored it in more detail and in a more grounded way. Grounded in reality, or even in general the psychological aspect of his story, instead setting its world in a fictitious one. Also, I don't believe this new manga of his will be as dark as or tragic. Sure, I do think there will be shades of it. There will be darkness in it. It will mainly be a serious tale, I do believe, but I think taking in account previous statements of his and part of the reason I think Tokyo Ghoul has such a toll on him, he will not do another tragedy, especially considering how he decided to end the Tokyo Ghoul storyline in the re-sequel versus the one in the original, choosing a happy ending instead of a tragic one. I believe it's only natural he would stay away from the tragedy for a while and focus on something different, more lighter in tone. But yet again, Sui Ishida set a certain tone for himself as a writer, being more serious about his stories. So I think he will continue to write more mature stories like Tokyo Ghoul that, although are not as tragic in nature, are still very much grounded and serious with those notorious shades of dark that I believe are so characteristic of his way of storytelling. But what do you all think? What do you think will be like the next project of Sui Ishida's? Join in on the conversation, please. I will very much enjoy to know. If you like the video and you want to see and keep up to more, click on the notification bell just so you can keep yourself updated with every new content I upload on this channel. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Until then, have a rest of a nice week. Sayonara.